I was wondering where this oath came from. An individual, except the president, elected or appointed to an office of honor or profit in the civil service or ununiformed service, shall take the following oath. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and so on and so forth. The first time I heard that was in the movie The Rock, starring Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. Now you combine that with the Declaration of Independence states that all men have these certain unalienable rights, and that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Your sworn oath, for those of you who swore it, includes not just the Constitution, but the unalienable rights mentioned in the Declaration of Independence, that Constitution and the amendments are meant to enforce and support. You know what? Hold on. I'll pull up the Declaration of Independence again. I'm just going to pause this. Okay. Archives.gov. That's what site I'm on right here. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bonds which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitled them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impelled them to the separation. Okay. Here's a few. In Oklahoma, there's a law that states a man cannot have a woman sitting in his lap, even if they're married, unless there's a pillow between them. This is irregardless of being in public or in the privacy of their own homes. That is a direct and blatant violation of their three mentioned unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Keynote here, mentioned. There are more, they just haven't been fully mentioned and presented, which is why corporations and the United States law walks all over them constantly. If a man wants to have a woman sitting in his lap in the privacy of their own home in Oklahoma, that's their fucking prerogative, and the state has no grounds to tell them they can't do that. No fucking right. No privilege. No authority. I don't know if that law has been abolished. It should never have been written to begin with, thus proving the corruption of the United States government, because it has proven, whether through incapable, gross, negligent behavior, or rather what's appearing more and more likely as time goes on, that it has always been corrupt and does not value its Declaration of Independence, its Constitution, or its sworn oath to uphold those things. Legally speaking, everything I'm saying here, yeah, it's all factual. But they're not going to uphold it in their court system because it's not written out on paper and documented and has a notary and all those stamps and official bullshit going on. I've tried before. I've sent letters. And because it's not all written out to the T and explaining everything succinctly and stroking their geopolitical, egocentric, narcissistic behavior, they're not going to pay any time of day to it. We shouldn't have to fill out these paperworks this way. We should be able to state quite concisely, we have the technology to bypass the need for paperwork. We can record, we can stream videos, we can live communicate with people across the entire fucking planet almost instantaneously. The need for paperwork has become obsolete. Granted, I do like to keep hard copies of things because on a website they can come back and edit it and lie to you. That's been done before. Look at the dictionary from, what was it, 1840 or 1940. Prior definition of the word nigger used to be a derogative insult, and in the etymology of the word, it was derived from ignorant people who thought that all the black slaves came from Nigeria. That's not true. Then it was changed to simply mean noun, an ignorant person. That's the definition I use it for. Ignorant, whether willful or unwillful ignorance, they'll tell you in a court, is no excuse for the law. Ignorance is not an excuse. Well, they're willfully choosing to ignore everyone's constitutional, civil, and unalienable rights. Where is it exactly? We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Among them. Not that they're the only three. Here's another law, the seatbelt law. If you, the individual, want to endanger your life, that's your right. That's your prerogative. No one has any authority, according to the Declaration of Independence, to stand on to tell you otherwise. And that they have made a law means that they are corrupt, that they are infringing your right to your own life. Now, here's something I've realized. All of these three that are listed, the pursuit of happiness falls under your civil liberty of free will and choice, which falls under your life, how you choose to live your life. And here's precedence. For those of you in legalese departments, so long as the individual is not actively choosing to infringe in any way the unalienable rights of another, then they should be free, and they are free under the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution that supports it to do whatever they want. Granted, as far as life is concerned, for the legal definition of a fellow human being, you can't go off and hunting them just because you enjoy it. That's completely fucking absurd. In order to defend yourself while being attacked, if you wind up taking the life of your fellow human being, that should not wind you up in jail when you were attacked and you were defending yourself. Here's something I've seen myself. I looked at this dude's file while I was in jail with him. Nicholas Richard Schoonover. His wife claimed she raped him. She changed her story a minimum of 3 separate times with 3 separate stories. I saw the paperwork on it. Do you know what the Alabama Legalese Department chose to railroad him with? Sodomy. In Alabama, the law states that no couple shall engage in any sexual position other than missionary, so they chose sodomy to railroad him. Clear, blatant violation of all 3 of his unalienable rights. And this happens, I have no idea how many times daily in Alabama. The law is corrupt. It always has been, and it always will be. And a lot of you, the people, you don't stand up for your rights. You don't tell these people flat out when they come to infringe your inalienable rights that they are in the wrong. And even when you do, this bullshit from you cops and you law enforcement agents, this bullshit of I'm just doing my job is no fucking excuse. The judges like to say ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, you are willfully choosing to ignore the unalienable rights of the individuals whose rights you're violating, committing high treason against the United States people. The United States is the people. One government, for the people, by the people, of the people. Anybody else remember that one? I think it's somewhere in the preamble or the Constitution. You know what? I'm going to pause this video and look for that one. Okay. The Constitution of the United States. A transcription on archives.gov. The preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Okay. Of the people, for the people, by the people. I paraphrased it. The preamble starts with we the people. So I paraphrased the preamble. Still admissible as evidence in a world court against the corruption within America. Some of you may wonder why in one of my previous videos I called for all the other nations to just nuke America. It's corrupt. It always has been, and it always shall be as long as it exists. So, under 5 U.S. Code 3331, Oath of Office. All of you swore that oath and do not point out the corrupt laws that violate the 3 mentioned, and there are more, the 3 mentioned unalienable rights in the Declaration of Independence. You are committing high treason when you're just doing your job. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. And for those of you who have sat on your ass, have known this, and haven't said a goddamn thing about it, you're equally as guilty of committing high treason Not just against yourselves, but your fellow American. Back when Trump was going into office, you had that slogan, Make America Great Again. America never was great. Not in the sense you're misusing that word for out of context. It's ironic. Irony. Using a word for something other than its literal intention. Great refers to size. Yeah, okay. America is great in size, but it's not great in any other aspect. What's an appropriate word to replace that bullshit slogan with? That's something to think about. Equitable? Equality is a lie. No one is born equal. Not even legally. Proper? Caring? Compassionate. That's a good word. How about we start with making the world compassionate? That's a good thing to do. Not just one nation, not just one group of people. You're all on this planet together. You need to start acting like it. You need to start giving a fuck about each other instead of being self-righteous, egotistical, megalomaniacal, I almost butchered the hell out of that word, narcissistic pieces of shit. Start giving a fuck about your fellow living being.